Good evening. Our top story this week. In Oklahoma, the drama in the baby Veronica case continues, when the real father is taken into custody based on the South Carolina court's decision to charge him with custodial interference, later to be released on a $10,000 bond. The wannabe adoptive parents of the loved and wanted child of a fit and loving parent hold a news conference in Oklahoma warning the fit and loving parent to hand the kid over because they were going to take her anyway. Then they bring a television reality show host who searches for lost loved ones into it, who proceeds to challenge the real father to meet with him, which is questioned by the Cherokee Nation's Attorney General as he has no legitimate qualifications. The real father shows up at a custody hearing without the girl, against the wishes of the wannabe adopters. They all meet in 2 courtrooms in one day, with the court hearings ending and mediation agreements filed. Also in Oklahoma, the child protective industry is missing 78 stolen children, and even more concerning is the fact that they're still taking away too many kids from their parents, and that is frustrating people because they're still trying to fix all the problems that were identified in a class action that was brought on by a child welfare watchdog group a few years back. In California, the governor signs a bill that would allow gender-confused kids to use the opposite-sex bathrooms at school. In Florida, a CPS agent is fired because of a kid who died while under her watch. And the state is warning against knee-jerk reactions to the recent rash of CPS failures because of any reforms they want to do will cost all kinds of money and won't do a thing to help improve the safety of the kids in the state. In Kansas, the child protective industry is working hard at snatching record numbers of kids from their parents. Kentucky's child welfare officials are refusing to release documents to the media pertaining to the deaths of children. In South Dakota, the child welfare ombudsman is criticizing a report on the state's Indian child welfare system that was done by National Public Radio. And illegal immigrants who are engaged in deportation proceedings are still having their kids snatched and thrown into foster care while they're booted out of the country. In New Zealand, a boy gets to stay in 9 different foster homes in 3 weeks, while the New Zealand government is being accused of trying to look tough on child abuse while raising fears of wrongful removals and false allegations. In Scotland, a plan to assign a social worker to every child at birth to look out for their best interests is being seen as sinister by family and homeschool organizations. In South Africa, a foster mother pleads guilty to sexual assault. And in Vietnam, newspapers are being accused of rudely violating the privacy of children who have been reported as being abused or neglected. In Australia, a member of parliament is caught lying about the number of child snatchers on the rolls. In Canada, a mother from Montreal was arrested and is awaiting trial for having a bad dream that never came true about killing her kids. A messed up and bitter custody battle leaves one judge in Alberta giving full custody of the kids to the mother and another judge in British Columbia giving full custody to the dad. And a father in Saskatchewan gets screwed out of whole weekends with his kid because of the mother's insistence on breastfeeding. In England, a social worker gets a taste of her own medicine and claims to have been shitting bricks while coming to terms with what real families go through after being accused of hitting a child she was supposed to be protecting. Worcestershire Council wants to start forcing some of their stolen children to pay for being in foster care. And the British child protective industry is warned not to neglect the record number of stolen children in their care while coming to terms with the fact that they're not equipped to handle so many kids. In entertainment news this week, the brother of Modern Family star Ariel Winter is trying to get custody of her after her mom lost custody because of allegations of abuse. A judge rules that a couple who lost their kids after spanking them with a wooden spoon on the Super Nanny show can seek punitive damages from San Diego County's child protective industry. And actresses Jennifer Garner and Halle Berry testify before the California legislature in support of an anti-paparazzi bill that would ban the taking of pictures of children without their parents' written consent. A mean old California foster mother who got busted a couple years back for putting a baby into a bleach-soaked diaper gets off without any jail time. A California foster parent who keeps snakes in the house gets busted for having sex with kids. And a California couple is suing the child protective industry for taking their kids for over a year because the father had a prescription for medical marijuana. In Arkansas, a 17-year-old kid puts 3 bullet holes in his foster father. In Arizona, a possible candidate for the state senate is in hot water after trying to help a real mom rescue her kid from Child Protective Services. In Colorado, a supervisor at a group home for troubled boys is arrested on suspicion of sexually assaulting one of them. And in Texas, a mean old foster mother who killed a 2-year-old who was snatched because her father smoked pot was charged with capital murder. In Indiana, the adoption of a set of twins is nullified 10 years later so that the real mother can make her case for getting them back. In Maine, a real mother snatches her kid from the grandmother and hightails it out of state. The Michigan Supreme Court takes away 4 kids from their fit and loving grandmother in Florida so that they can stay in a foster home in Michigan Michigan. And in Montana, Lewis and Clark County has to pay $200,000 to a foster kid after a sheriff's deputy failed to report the abuse of two boys by their adoptive parents in 2006. In Ohio, wannabe adoptive parents are being encouraged to advertise themselves on Facebook, as that apparently speeds up the process. In Pennsylvania, a couple of parents are cleared of abuse after a few emails that were withheld came to light, proving that the baby had rickets and a stroke and wasn't in fact abused or neglected when CPS agents claimed otherwise. In Tennessee, a family is still seeking answers as to why their kid died in a juvenile detention facility where he should never have been. In Oklahoma, a foster mother gets the bill for a foster kid's medical expenses. In Texas, a couple is claiming that their baby was targeted by a social worker at a hospital. And finally, tonight, a Texas father is trying to get his kid back from CPS after the mother abandoned him at a fire station. For these stories and all the latest dirt on the child protective industry, visit www.legallykidnapped.com. And until next week, this is Baby LK, over and out.